Start. Dim.
Alright, hello again, this is BGFH. Welcome back to Illegally Cited. We're going to do another iPhone accessibility video here. In the last one, we did start taking a look at VoiceOver. We looked at the, moving around the screen by dragging around and listening to what's under your finger, the left and right flick. We also looked at the double tap gesture to activate something. And then I gave you a little bit of an explanation about the keyboard and the couple of typing modes and a little bit of the rotor. We will cover the rotor in more detail in future videos, definitely. But those are, some of the basic gestures you're going to need to know right away to start using the device. And I'm going to show you a couple of other ones and show you a little bit more of iOS itself in this video here. One thing I do want to mention quickly about the keyboard, in order to change the typing mode from touch typing to standard or vice versa, you can't do that in the rotor anywhere. I couldn't be on this screen where we are right now and do that. You actually have to be in an actual editable field. So a search box, a email that you're actually typing in, you actually have to be in a field with the keyboard up, and then that typing mode option will appear. Otherwise, you can use the rotor all day and you'll never see that option appear. So I wanted to bring that up because I think I forgot to mention that in the last video. So earlier on, I mentioned that I do have multiple home screens. I have 4 right now, and I'm not sure if there's a limit to them. I'm not sure, but like I said, I have 4. And I can move between them, so I can move between items
Social folder, financial folder,
on my home screen with my one finger, or if I want to move left and right, which is how the home screens are organized, I take 3 fingers at the same time and I flick left and right.
Page 1 of 4, App Store.
Okay, now you see I have totally different items.
Double tap job search, Google folder, iTunes U. Flexi, job, weather folder, Vikings folder, newsstand folder.
Okay, so I have totally different ones. If I go to the right,
page 2 of 4, blindness folder, page 3 of 4, game services folder, 3 new items.
There we go. So I have different. Now I have the games in here, and my 4th page
4 of 4,
is accessible games. So I kind of have some.
Page 2 of 4.
I have some miscellaneous stuff on my first page, a lot of my productivity and accessibility stuff on my second page, my mainstream games and all that kind of stuff on my 3rd page, and then accessible games on my 4th page. That's how I've chosen to divide it. And on the bottom of every screen, you have the dock, which is 4 icons.
Blindness folder, 14
hush.
Phone, mail, Safari, settings.
These are going to be different. These are going to be different from my device to your device because you can put whatever icons you want down there. So what this dock means is that no matter what home screen I'm on, I'm going to have those icons are always going to be there, which, I pop into the phone fairly frequently. I do mail, I do Safari all the time, and I'm usually doing something with settings, so I like to keep that in quick access as well. So that's kind of how you navigate between multiple screens. Now I should clarify, when I say flick left and right with 3 fingers, it's kind of the opposite of what you think. So if I'm flicking to the right, it's actually moving the screen left. And if I flick to the right, it's actually pulling, it's pulling to the right. What it's kind of doing is like I'm taking, let's say I do it to the right here again.
Page 1 of 4.
It's like I'm pushing that current screen out of the way and viewing what's to the left of me. It makes sense once you kind of play with it a little bit, but it might seem intuitively, it might seem a little backwards at first. So I do want to clarify that. You can do the same thing up and down. To demonstrate that, I'm going to go into the bottom right icon here, my settings icon.
Settings.
Okay.
Settings.
So I know that I have a bunch of stuff on this main settings screen, but I'm only viewing one screen of it at a time. So I'm just going to touch somewhere on the screen here.
Notifications.
Okay. I'm going to use 3 fingers, and I'm going to actually go flick up to kind of, push it out of the way.
Rows 10 to 20 of 64. Rows 20 to 30 of 64.
So it tells you how many kind of items are in, there's 64 overall items on this screen, and it tells you the number of items that are currently available on this screen. So I can move my finger.
Photos, Facebook, Twitter, iBooks, photos and camera, button.
So, I'm just using my, dragging my finger across the screen just like I did on the home screen, and I'm able to view the items that are available on the current screen. If there's something I see in particular that I want to see, just like before, I can touch it.
94s, button. Photos and camera, button.
I can also flick left and right.
iBooks, iTunes U, button. iBooks, photos and camera, button.
To go in order. So all those things apply. One other thing I want to show you really quickly before I wrap up this video, or there's two more things I hopefully want to cover, is above everything, all the icons on the home screen. I'm going to go to I'm going to go to this home screen because you're familiar with it a little bit. Now, my first item was
blindness folder, 14 apps.
My blindness folder.
Double tap
if I drag my finger,
blindness folder, Verizon network, status bar item.
I drug it up.
With 3 fingers to reveal the
yes.
center.
Hush. So we're on our status bar right now. So on the top of every screen, whether you're on the home screen or in an app, you're always going to have this home screen there. Or not the home screen, you're always going to have the status bar there. The only exception to that are like really full screen apps, where if you're doing a full screen game or watching a full screen video, it will hide all of the interface elements, including the status bar, so you can just see only your video or your game that you really want to see. So, but otherwise, you're going to have the status bar here. Now that I'm in my status bar, I can flick to the right.
3 of 3 bars. Wi-Fi signal strength.
3 of 3 bars. Actually, I'm going to flick to the left.
Verizon network.
With one finger.
Status bar item. 4 of 5 bars. Signal strength. Status bar item.
Flick
Verizon
to the right.
Network. 3 of 3 bars. Wi-Fi signal. 8:09 p.m. Location tracking on. Status bar. Bluetooth connected. Status. Bluetooth battery 88%. 40% battery power. Charging. Status bar item.
And
X-Rack.
that is the last
40% battery
item in your status bar. So that's where you get a lot of your basic information. How much signal strength do I have? Is my Wi-Fi connected? How much juice? How much battery power do I have? That kind of thing. Now, currently, you cannot interact with those things at all. Like, I can't just toggle and turn my Wi-Fi on and off to save battery, or my Bluetooth, or things like that. In iOS 7, they are adding, I forget what the feature's called, but they are adding something like that, so you will be able to do those common things more quickly, finally. But you currently cannot do that from here. One other quick thing I want to show you is the notification center. You notice as I flick,
Bluetooth battery 88%. Status bar item. Swipe down with 3 fingers to reveal the notification center.
I'm going to do that. Swipe down with 3 fingers.
Post to Twitter.
Okay, so from the status bar, I can get to the notification center. This is where apps are going to give you information. I have a few up here purposely that I didn't remove them here so that you could kind of get to see them. I have a weather widget app. This is a one that's that Apple's made. There's a stock widget that I disabled because I really don't care about stocks. Those are really the only real main widgets. Then you have, I can quickly
post to Twitter.
Post to Twitter.
Unread. Moves. Yesterday. Walking 0.7 miles.
Moves is an app that I have that I've used where I can just, it kind of tracks like a pedometer.
Unread. Kickstarter. Update number 18.
So I have another app on here called Kickstarter, and it's giving me a status update to one of the projects that I've backed.
Unread. Jetpack. The laser jetpack is now on sale. Grab it now and try not to burn your pants. 4 weeks ago.
So Jetpack Joyride, you remember that little cool game? They'll periodically send you notifications. Like I said, they update their game frequently, and if there's something really noteworthy, they will, give you a notification. Now keep in mind you can turn the notifications for each one of these apps on and off. So if maybe you want to hear notifications from some of them and not others, maybe some of them they're getting a little bit too crazy and notifying you too often, you don't want that, you can turn it off. And then you can keep other ones on. So you can do all that kind of stuff under settings. But I'm not going to get into that crazy detail here. I can hit the home button.
Blindness folder. 14
And there
apps.
goes my notification center. Let me check how we're doing on
X-ray.
time. Okay.
X-ray. Ready.
I'm-
Home. Travel
I'm
folder.
keeping
10
these
apps.
to 15 minutes
Double tap to
or less because when I'm uploading them with my phone, it gets cranky, and even though I can submit videos over 15 minutes, the iPhone says otherwise, and it gets cranky and says, you can't do that. I've tried to do that, and it's really fought me on that. So, to wrap up this video, one other thing that I want to bring to your attention, I'm not going to go into them in detail in this video, but there are a couple of apps that you can get for free in the App Store. I know one is free. I think they both are. Let me see if I have them in my blindness folder
Blindness
here.
folder. Opening blindness folder. Blindness. Open. Light detector. Goggles.
Let's see.
BO starter.
Yep, okay, so we have VO Starter and we have VO
BO tutorial.
Double
Double tap to open.
These are two different apps that you can get, or you can, have somebody help you get if you're not used to it yet. But these are apps that you can run that are built to teach you more hands-on. They'll explain something and they'll give you a specific task to do, but it gives you hands-on practice of doing a lot of these basic gestures that I've been showing you. And like I said, I'm still kind of wondering, how many scenarios and how many things I can cover with VoiceOver. I'm still kind of working that out, but for a full, more in-depth practice, you can do that. These are free apps that are available, and they give you just a lot more. It's nice because they give you a hands-on practice without actually being, live. So you're not actually going to screw anything up, or you're not going to open or move something when you didn't really mean to, because you're kind of, within that environment instead of just in the main phone or main device itself. So there are some nice tutorial apps being updated. They're updated fairly frequently with tweaks and fixes and things like that. So there are also those resources available to you. I think we're going to stop the video here and call it a day.
Ready.
Like I said, with a couple of these initial voiceover videos, hopefully it's starting to give you an idea of, not only how VoiceOver works, but also how the phone is kind of laid out, and just the fact that, with a touchscreen, despite only being a touchscreen, you really only have one physical button. Your phone is still really completely usable. Phone, tablet, or iPod MP3 player. So, despite only being a touchscreen, it's all perfectly usable and actually works really well, and is actually surprisingly more intuitive than I thought it would be. Because originally I was actually fairly concerned about that myself. I was like, how is this actually going to work? But like you said, as you can tell, it's actually working pretty well. So with that, I will wrap it up here, and I will talk to you guys next time.